Of course.
Recording in progress.
Oh, now you hear it. Before you say you don't hear it.
Yeah, the voice changed too. She used to be, I don't know, more gruff, I guess.
Nice. Yeah. It's
How are
different.
you?
I'm good. How are you guys?
All right.
We're in Park City, Utah. Let's see if we can show you anything. Yeah, you can kind of see some stuff.
Oh, wow. Life.
Yeah,
Life.
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 Mountains, life, Mormon country.
Some birds and
The weather is actually really nice here. We've been getting not great air quality because of forest fires.
Yeah.
But the last couple of days, like this morning, it was super crisp and clear. I've been doing yoga outside. It feels really good.
sounds amazing.
You can't hear? We're trying to split.
No, I'm gonna just grab the. Does that sound okay?
Which one is this?
Great.
Which mic is this?
This is the desktop.
Oh my God. The previous one was the AirPods.
Yeah.
Yeah, everybody keeps telling me AirPods mics are shit, but now I get it.
Oh,
Like,
really?
Oh, really? It's better with
Yeah.
the
This
desktop.
is so much better.
Oh,
Interesting.
okay.
Hmm.
Well,
Yeah, because I figured it was going to come through one of them because we're sharing them.
together we make one AirPod set.
We're trying.
Oh, I
it out.
saw on Instagram that you and had an anniversary. Did I see
Yeah,
that?
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, that's true.
I was like, wait, did I mix you up with someone else? How long has it been?
A year.
Congratulations.
Thank
That's a
you so much.
milestone. Yeah.
It was very difficult to make it.
I mean, relationships are weird,
Yeah.
especially you two are both like powerhouses. So put them together, there's going to be some spicy interactions.
A lot of energy in one place.
Yeah.
A lot of opinions.
That, exactly that.
Yep.
Cool.
Yeah.
Did you do anything to celebrate? I feel like I could see you guys doing a fancy dinner or something.
No, lockdown. The only thing that we did was we went to the
Oh, yeah.
we took the car and we drove all the 3 hours away to the beach where where we made things official.
Cool.
We went back to the same place, had a lunch in the car because there's no restaurants allow you for outside dining. So we just bought and then sit in the car and ate and then drove 3 hours back. And the entire thing was 5 hours of joy celebration. And joyful, yeah, that we made the best out of it. But the Four Seasons made a whole thing where they just hang stuff on the door
really?
and it delivered. That card was made by the staff here. It wasn't.
That's so cool.
Yeah, it's actually.
That's crazy. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's really nice.
Yeah.
Make you feel like you're part of the family. I mean, that's what they do.
Truly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
How
it's
they know.
Four Seasons residence. Is that what it's called? Like,
Yeah.
yeah. Neat.
Yeah, we're in a hostel. So I mean they might throw us a party.
They probably would.
Any chance to party here.
Yeah, any
they'd
chance
party.
to get everyone together for something.
Yeah, I mean it's fun because everybody here for the most part is like an extrovert. And so there's a big common room and they're always hanging out together, like trying to figure out the world. It's a fun vibe. Like it's an interesting, like I haven't been in a place like this in as long as I can remember. Like, and it's kind of like it's in a mountain town. There's like a lot of skiing here. So the type of person that shows up is very outdoorsy, very like active.
Skiing, and then in the summer, mountain biking, hiking.
Yeah.
What else do people do? Those are the main
Every
things.
possible activity you can imagine.
Rafting.
Yeah.
River rafting.
And like So the like cross section of people are like, you know, they got into like snowboarding or skiing as a subculture and then just sort of stayed and are still doing it and trying to figure out their lives. And like some of them like just have a real hard time
moving on,
just being in the world, you know? And so like they're staying in, you know, like pretty cheap rooms. Like there's a handful of people living here. I think there's like 100 something beds. And then it's a mixture of people who are just passing through, like on their way to wherever,
or some digital nomads.
And then so it's an interesting cross section of people. Like a lot of people who are like in between things, like trying to figure out maybe a new career. Like we were just talking to a girl who's a geologist, and like
you'll like this. She does the programming behind what, like geological, like
she does like geological modeling for like oil wells effectively.
So like, when she finishes a project, like when the job is done right, there's like an eruption like in the earth, like oil is like found or something. So she's like, I couldn't do just like regular digital stuff because I need like a tangible product. I'm like the earth opening up and like exploding. I was like, that's so specific. I was like, it's kind of addicting though, like the digital version, because you could just keep adding to it. It's not like the earth where you have to go find another place to like drill. You can find like a sweet spot. I
mean, there are similarities. I mean, you can make as much digital stuff as you want, but if people don't use it, it doesn't do anything. So you have to find people on the other end of it to or robots. But she's biking from the border of Canada down to the border of Mexico. So like
cycling.
How long is that?
A couple months or something. Like
a couple months. She's today, I think Dave, you said 23 days in.
And she had like a wheel break or whatever, so she's stopping over here. Like there's a company that can rebuild the wheel or whatever. So I mean, we met an Israeli guy who's been all over. He's like really personable,
really friendly.
Lots of characters. It's been a weird interesting week, like sort of sharing space like this. I could see living in a place like this if like the people were predominantly like
knowledge worker types, maybe
building stuff, making things, you know, also active or whatever. It's nice to have people to talk to all the time. You don't get to really choose, but you find yourself in weird conversations. Find out about like the weirdest pockets of the world. This one guy is like a professional disc golf player, and like he's been all over the world. He's from East Texas, and you know, his worldview is extremely interesting. So it's fun.
Oh my God.
That's been our last week.
Like dozens of people coming in and out of here.
We were spending a lot of money staying at places, like if you live just the two of us alone, like so we were like, well, let's even it out and do something lower cost. So you have to share space a little bit. I don't know, I mean, it would be hard because it's hard to work in these places because everyone is so social. You can sit there and just ignore everyone and be on your computer, but that's where I think it would be nice if other people are doing the same thing. So it's less of like being antisocial and you're just part of, I don't know, it's the way things are.
There's some people down there who are working. Like there was a woman I overheard
on a call.
She's doing like consulting stuff. She's like a product manager for like some logistics software or whatever. And then some other guy who like does social media for like a famous race car driver. He's like a former photographer. So there are these people there. Like it comes through and
with the federal government, like he did like private consulting, but with the federal government, this was the weirdest job, to the National Institutes of Health and all of these different, like I overheard him. So after he got off the call, I was asking him what he was doing because he kept bringing up really random health conditions and like talking about like, oh, do we have a definition for that? And where's that plugged in? But then he started getting into, it felt like not product design, but like SEO sort of design and optimization, which is what he was doing. So his client is the federal government, and he's talking about there's this one woman who's in her 60s or 70s who's basically this librarian for the National Institutes of Health, and she writes these 200-word snippets for all of these medical conditions that just get filed on the internet. And why, we don't know. Like what? Well, like who looks at this stuff? I guess
so it's a registry or whatever, like an official source, but she's the only one writing it. Like it makes
and she's
no
sick
sense
right now or something. She's out, and they're like, "Well, just wait for her. We're not going to hire anyone else to backfill her for like it's like a couple months off or something." And we're just sitting there thinking, "What?"
Yeah, it's like a national source of information, and one 70-year-old woman is handling it. It's just
welcome
crazy.
to the United States.
Yeah. And like this guy is a consultant that's like helping like massage the data so that it's more legible and like findable and stuff, but he's competing against all these like big for-profit entities. It's like a pointless job. All of it is pointless. Like he's just like, it's fine, whatever. He's just traveling around. He's gonna go camping, and it's fine. So, I mean, it's not, I guess, not completely pointless. Somebody may be getting some use out of the thing.
Yeah,
but
it's unbiased information that's not fiddled with by capitalism, like so to speak.
But it's coming through one brain.
Who finds this? Like, I'm kind of curious now. I should go search for obscure medical conditions and see what
if
comes
you can
up.
Find it.
And just see if what the NIH website looks like. Yeah.
Anyhow, so it's been a bunch of that, and then we've gotten a bunch of work done. Like we're like hitting our stride, like engineering wise, because the stuff that we're plugging in is like really fun. So like we're doing we're recording the calls, and it's a lot of like really technical plumbing. So it's mostly me sitting there trying to figure out how all this stuff works, and then
I don't even have the ability to try to figure out how it works. So I'm just like hanging out, and then I do like kind of admin stuff that's related to the project, like in the background a little bit, because I'm still there. But the whole time, like the last call, I was like, these guys are fucking magicians. They're just figuring out like code. It feels like magic because you don't know how you're going to do something. You're trying to figure out like the right spell, and then you go to like a spell book online, like Stack Overflow. Oh, how did another magician figure it out?
Stack Overflow. Nice.
Yeah, and basically it. But so it's cool. We have like an MVP now. It's like a full cycle where you can input like text. It creates a block on the blockchain, and then like stores it in the interplanetary file system. And then we hooked it up to this service called the Graph that allows you to do queries and then pull them back into the system. So now we have like a full loop of like a blockchain publishing thing. And so binding it all together, like I learned a ton about how like all the pieces are working. There's a ton to build here still. Like, I don't know how many people are doing this, but I think we're very early in the process. It's cool though. It's fun. Like, and it's like, it's got that thing where like, it's starting to work and like everybody is sort of, they're fun problems to solve. And like, we're sharing a brain on it. So
yeah, one of the things that was interesting was John was saying, some projects you get to the end of a meeting or a call and you feel like you just got further from where you're trying to go because you can't quite wrap your head around it. But that's not happening. Every time we get one step further and we can see the light at the end of the tunnel, and it's getting brighter and brighter, which is kind of nice. Yeah.
That's cool.
We had a almost 4-hour call that we recorded. It's basically, we call it code TV because it's basically someone's coding and then the other programmer engineers are watching and okay, what do we do here? It's like
you can
sharing a brain on code. It's really weird. It's cool. It's kind of soothing. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, you're sitting there problem solving, like working out the system, and then you can like somebody else is holding that part of the problem and they're like, hey, I saw this, try that.
Yep.
I think if you go here, that'll work. Like, oh, that, it speeds up it's pair programming effectively, but we're doing it as a group. Well, I'm sitting around and make a joke every once in a while, but we're doing it as a group, and then we're recording it so people could watch through the process if they wanted to. I don't know that anybody ever will, but we had a comment on our first YouTube comment.
Was it an actual comment?
Yeah, somebody is like stoked at what we're building.
Who is it?
Thinks we're amazing. I don't know.
That's amazing. We've got 14 subscribers on YouTube.
It's really growing. We've gone viral.
We're not broadcasting this at all.
No one knows
however it's getting out, it's getting out.
Yeah. And it's so difficult to find it if somebody just searches your names.
Buzzard crypto. That's the trick.
Yeah. So
it shows up.
we're doing SEO like for the future. So we're naming each one like with like silly names and stuff that might get you to the search if ever they get popular or if ever anybody knows that what we're doing. So I don't know. It's good practice to get the stuff out.
Do you guys hear the storm?
No, you got a big one?
No. I'm trying to just manage the like mute and everything just so that it wouldn't be too annoying for you guys, but you guys are not hearing it.
No, we're not hearing it.
Don't worry about it. Like there's like traffic out here. So
really? It seemed pretty quiet out there when you showed me.
That's good.
Showed you the
parking
hills.
lot, isn't it?
Yeah. It's out in front of the hostel. Yeah, so we're in Park City, Utah, and the place is like they had the Olympics here, the Winter Olympics in 2002. So there's like a bunch of like infrastructure, and it's called Park City because everything feels like a park. Everything's labeled. Everything is legible. Everything is designed like extremely well. There are bike paths everywhere. And then
hiking trails everywhere.
Yeah. A lot of celebrities and stuff live up or like have their like mountain homes up here. So there's a lot of money around. So it's like, it's a weird place. And then we're staying in like the rough part of town. It's the nicest thing possible.
Yeah. Sundance Film Festival it's not always here, but it's been here, I guess, last 2020, 2019.
Yeah.
So that also explains, I think, why there's some fancier stuff.
It's an interesting place.
Really interesting.
Yeah, I feel like I came here when I was younger, but I don't remember much about it. Like, probably I don't ski or anything, so probably just hung out. But yeah, I don't know. I think we'll come back here. It'd be a good place to get like a big house, and then there's so much nature stuff and like bike paths and all kinds of crazy stuff during the off season. Like have some people get together and like build some stuff and then do some outdoor things. It might be cool.
Yeah.
It's on the list.
Buzzard office.
Yeah.
Or like scouting
mobile
out
Buzzard
spots.
office. Distributed Buzzard office.
Shit, if I was there and with all of the characters that you just kind of painted, I would hire all of them, start a company. Like, okay, let's do it. You guys seem like the people.
We were just telling the geologist about you because I was down there having coffee right before the call, and we're talking to our friend. He's always starting businesses and he's just hiring all these people all the time, and then there you go.
See?
He might hire you if you were together.
Yeah, I met one kid, his name James, I think is his name, and he's just graduated like pre-law, and like he's been working forever, and then he's just like I can't go to college, I can't do it or whatever, and so he's just like bumming around like the world.
He can't go to law school, you mean?
He just doesn't know what he wants to do yet, and he doesn't know what's right. He hasn't seen the world, these kinds of things.
Is he the one whose dad is a lawyer too?
No, I think his dad is owns a big business or something like this. We didn't really get into it too much, but he's like I only hung out with him yesterday morning.
You haven't seen him since then?
No, and that he disappeared. They just vanish sometimes. But we got to talking. It was like 7 a.m. and I'm like the only one in the big common room, like having coffee, and then I'm like writing. It's what I do every morning. And then sometimes the people are just like, "What are you doing? What's going on? How's it happening?" They're just like, "We got to talk." And he was asking me about something I don't remember. Oh, he mentioned that I look like somebody from like House of Cards. There's like an actor, and I'm like, yeah, I get that sometimes.
Yeah.
And then
Pause. Who?
Yeah, what is his name?
He's like a senator.
He does look
in
like
the first
Dave.
couple seasons.
He's handsome too, so I like it.
Yeah, I don't remember what his name is, but Kristen will find the name. But yeah, the basically like I started talking to
Corey
him.
Daniel Stoll.
Corey Daniel Stoll.
Stoll. Corey, Corey.
Yeah.
It's my closest doppelganger. We have the same haircut. But
They
yeah,
have the same haircut and ears. It's the big ears.
but yeah. So we start talking, and he's like going out to Wyoming. There's like a 30,000 acre ranch out there that's like kind of like a luxury ranch, and like Elon Musk and all these other people go out there, and like Kanye and stuff, and he's going to be like a guide or something, like trail guide. He doesn't want to do it, but it's the best thing he's got going right now. And like we started talking about like Web3 and like what's happening there, and like he's like what? And he's like making all these notes and I'm like, yeah. So, and he's like, that makes sense. That's how that should work. And this is okay. And then, and I'm like, you're into law, right? So like, it's all based on like smart contracts. And then we're like working out that stuff. And he's like all spazzed out. I'm like, all right, I'm not going to go to Wyoming. I'm going to go back home and get my computer and I'm going to start working on this. I'm like, okay, you do that. It was fun though. Like it's like evangelizing effectively. And I'm like, there could be a better world. Put it on the blockchain. But yeah.
Yeah, use Buzzard to document it.
Should.
He told Dave he could be a professor.
Oh yeah.
He's like, you could be a teacher. You could teach this stuff. Maybe not now. Like you can just keep learning and doing the work now, but later, like I could see that for you.
I'm like, thank you. I appreciate that.
It's cute.
He's like 25 or something, 24.
He knows what's up.
Yeah.
He probably knows a good teacher when he sees one.
I guess. I mean, he's
school.
had more college than I had. So yeah. So yeah, it's been a weird week.
It's been a fun week, it seems.
Yeah.
It's been interesting. Good. Yeah. How you been? What have you been up to?
This area.
Yeah.
That's the whole area that I've been up to. Nothing. Hearing you guys talk about all of the fun adventures you guys been on, this as depressing as it possibly can get. I've been just sitting doing projects on the computer, seeing money disappear.
Yeah. That's how that goes.
Yeah, that's how it goes. And then client work is good.
Good.
Getting things out, and people getting COVID in the company. We got
really?
2 people now have COVID. Yeah.
How are they doing? Hopefully mild case.
Well, yeah, both are kind of mild, but one of them a bit worse than the other. But we'll see. I mean, they're still.
Where are they?
Bangkok.
One
is
in Ukraine, the other one is in Romania. So.
Interesting. So they're all over the world. Do you know a lot of people in Bangkok that have been getting sick?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, a lot. It's completely out of control here. Like I'm gonna go meet some friends on Friday. And I'm like, oh fuck. Like chances of
where in like a bunker.
COVID, yeah. We've been doing quarantine for like I don't know how long until we get vaccinated. And it's not about getting sick with COVID because it's knock on wood, if that happens, it would be a mild case. But just the downtime is the scary part, because you would go 1 week, and if I do 1 week off right now, it would be a little bit difficult. But
just because you have so much work.
So over this week and next week, we are just pushing everything online. It's just because of that. So that we have nothing else on our agenda other than just pushing this out. Then I can just go back and disappear for a while. But until this, everything is out and the bills are out for compliment agency and some other stuff.
You need a couple weeks before anything can happen to you.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And I would gladly just file like give me COVID.
Just go outside, start licking everything.
COVID vacation. Yeah.
Put chill somewhere.
Yeah.
With COVID.
How did the video experiments go?
Oh yeah, I saw you tweeting about some of this. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, very, very good, very interesting. It's fun to make.
Yeah.
I did forget to record anything over the past week, but I did design something for a client because the designer is sick. And it was just like a teaser, and I recorded it. And then I went to the client and I'm go, how do you guys feel? Because it's a startup and they're looking to raise money more. They have the pre-seed locked in and then they hired us to do the work and hopefully help them to raise the money. How about we share the entire process online? How confident are you guys about that? Go, no, we like building in the open. I'm a perfect.
That's cool.
That's cool. Yeah.
Let's do it. How about we just drop the entire website that you have online and then we replace it with a coming soon kind of a thing, and then we just document the entire progress on that landing page, and then we share everything. And it goes, all right.
That's cool.
And I just designed it on a video of screen recording and did it in an hour.
Yep.
Nice.
And then we're just going to make it as hopefully the website will be online sometime this week.
Cool.
And with that, we're gonna put the website online, the video that I did the design.
Yep.
And the Figma files and just everything. And that would be whenever a client goes, how does Tree Drops work with startups? And watch that YouTube.
Like this. Yeah. It's
See?
cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like it.
Makes sense.
Yeah, let me know when that's up because I want to watch your skills. I've been trying to warm up again, so it'd be fun to watch how you do things.
It's a 1.5 hour for just a teaser landing page. But I tried to speed it up to get something at least like this is how slow he is. I try to hide as much as I can.
It's compounded knowledge. It takes time to, put 15 years of thinking into one button or whatever.
Truly, it's just 4 buttons on that website.
That's how it is.
That's how it goes.
But if it's well designed, it's a seamless flow between all of them.
Yeah. Yeah, and then there's another thing, which is with Tree Drops and OFC slowly warming up to the idea of not putting out polished work. So Tree Drops Dribble is now managed by a non-designer, which basically goes to all of our Figma files and just take a screenshot and just drops it in Dribble. And it's really just a screenshot of the Figma file.
Yeah.
And running it for an entire week to see if that gets us even close to the number of likes that we would get on a design shots.
Yeah.
If that's actually true, then we found the perfect spot.
Yeah, easy.
Yeah, so much easy. And then we made a page for Tree Drops called, I think Play Snap Archive, something like that. It's live, and it's a big, massive archive of everything that we've done ever.
Cool.
There's a bunch of screenshots from our Figma file iterations that never made it, basically.
Nice.
So that's their, a bunch of designer mind-shattering kind of experiences.
Mm-hmm. Mind-shattering in the sense that you're not supposed to put out everything, or what?
No, designing anything, because none of them are done by a designer. This is just done by our community manager.
Curator, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
cool.
she just zero design experience. She goes like, great, it's great.
It's fine.
Yeah, you do your job, she does her job.
Yep.
That's nice. Hopefully it works out.
Yeah, that's cool. Yeah, I'm curious, like what trickles in with all of this stuff, because it's effectively like a content play over time.
Yeah.
And like if people find it as a resource, it can be super helpful. So, and then
Yeah. The only thing that we were talking about today was that Dribble is usually a source of leads for agencies. So, and then clients want to see polished stuff. They wouldn't, but designers don't like it as much as we've probably noticed over the past few days that we've been doing this. So Figma screenshots are doing surprisingly well compared to the shots that we spent maybe half a day designing the shot.
That's so interesting.
It's just so bad. Like the products are amazing that we've done for the clients, but then we need to spend half a day designing a shot. We're like, this is ridiculous. Yeah. Doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, I mean, I bailed on Dribble for that exact reason. I'm like, fuck this game.
Too polished.
I'm like, no one's paying me for this shit. So,
it doesn't make any sense. And all of the product work that you see on Dribble nowadays, just none of them are real products.
I haven't been there.
Yeah, it's
concept art.
Yep.
Which is fine. Like that stuff can be cool, but
that's not what it was founded for. Like it was more.
I mean, it was more work in progress stuff when I first started playing with it.
Yeah.
And then, you know, it was kind of like Twitter in the same, you're like sort of posting stuff to get, but yeah, like it very quickly became like the polish Olympics. Whoever can make the most polished thing that like gets the most eyeballs wins kind of thing.
Who uses it now? Like, do people use it as a portfolio basically?
Oh, agencies are killing it on Dribble.
Okay.
It's still the number one, although a lot of agencies are moving to LinkedIn. It seems like that's the only place where algorithms are actually kind to you because Twitter is weird. Wow, it's crazy. I barely can hear you guys. Let me just switch the headphones. No, it's the storm.
Oh. Is it monsoon season?
Let's see if it works. Does it work? Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
How's my sound quality, by the way? Now that I switched
it was better before.
Yeah, it's like it sounds smaller with the headphones.
You can change it though. Like, so it's headphones for one and then microphone for other.
That's what we're doing.
So this is better.
Yeah.
Wow.
How funny. Yeah. Wow. We figured it out today.
Well, it sounds like you're in a room this way. And then the other way, it kind of sounds like you're a little voice in our heads. So I don't know. It depends on what you're trying to get across.
I think in a room is nicer than having someone in your head. But you know.
You're like one of my sub personas, the Farzad persona in my head.
Speaking of headphones, have you guys seen the very hyped product, Nothing?
Yeah, we went through
it last time, didn't we?
Yeah.
2 weeks ago?
Yeah.
Well, it's out now.
And I didn't care.
Did you guys order?
No, I was just like, who cares? What's this? Why does that matter?
Yeah.
And you're like, well, this is a big deal because, Well, I was kind of curious. It's interesting to see products through different people's eyes that care about it and see it differently than I do. One of the things that I remember was it had the little, is it white and red dots?
Yeah.
And you were talking about how it looked cheap, how like it was painted on the one thing. Yeah.
Oh my God. I've been watching for whatever. I guess I have too much free time still. I was watching YouTube reviews.
Yeah.
But the packaging is horrible.
Oh, really?
Really?
Yeah, the box is really cheap. And that kind of explains the sticker, but then the engineering of the headphones are amazing.
Yeah.
The level of attention to detail that went, but they spent zero of that money on the packaging.
Yeah.
Packaging is important.
It really is.
Yeah.
I had a same conversation with a friend of mine, and they're doing jewelry. I go, bucks, nobody cares about bucks. They just open it and throw it away. I'm like, oh,
No, it's
that's
not
the
true.
entire branding. You said that because
Yeah.
it's not even most of the time it's not about, which brings me to this. These are cat-on pads to remove makeup.
Okay.
Yeah, this is a new business.
Okay. Your
No, this
newest
is
business.
this is a
No,
this is
seriously?
yeah, seriously, actually. So I was because I keep telling that fuck, we are doing probably we are overthinking things. You need to look at the smallest piece of thing that you are using, and you're using a lot of it, and then try to make it luxury or make you aware of the quantity of the products. So the things like tissues and things we never understand how much. Same thing with the tooth cream and such. Yeah, fuck it. Let's just run a very quick experiment and see if it works. And I hope the future customers will watch this video. So we ordered this is just purely just experiment. Made a name, called it Renklar, which is both of them means clean in Swedish, but then that was the only, yeah.
Renklar, yeah. Yeah, it feels like a skincare thing.
Yeah, right? It does actually. And then we ordered as many different brands and packages as we could possibly find online. And we ordered probably, there's a big box of it over there, like 30 of them. And we looked at every single one of them to understand, first of all, the pricing and the quality of things. And then she tested all of them. And we realized, all right, these are the organic ones. Great. How many of these would you use per day? Well, 6 of them. Let's just make a 1 day kind of a thing. Because when you buy a package, it's about 80 pieces in it. Okay. And 80 pieces, just 80 pieces. That doesn't mean how long it would take you to actually go run through them.
Yep.
So we go, how many per day? 6 is probably a good limit. And we make a box for one, and we sell one a few dollars.
Okay.
Which is a lot.
Yeah.
Because let's see, one box of 80 pieces is about $4. We are selling 1 day worth of cat-on pads for $2. And we are putting these into a 1 week box. So you would open a 1 week box and you would see 7 of these daily ones.
Yep.
And if you want to order a month, you would order 4 boxes. So we are doing this very, very MVP type of a style where we ordered the boxes, we designed a thing. We ordered 2 boxes, one for the daily ones, one for the 7. We package it ourselves. And we have about 50 pieces, 50 weeks.
Okay.
So that's your inventory.
Yeah.
Okay.
And given that she's an influencer, we're just gonna put it on her Instagram and
See
what happens.
Actually, yeah. And we buy them, and then we just remove the package and put it in the 7 thing. And if this actually flies and people actually pay more just because of the quality of it, how it's packaged and branded, they're solely actually paying for how it's presented, which is most of the time. It's about the packaging, how the thing is presented. Then great, we just contact the factory, which we already know. It just takes about 60 days to get this directly to us. And there we have it.
What does the daily package look like?
It's like a card box. So I have it in Figma.
I think that
exactly
sharing's
like
on, but let me see. Yeah, cool.
Yeah, it's a cool way to prototype something.
The MVP thing makes sense too.
Yeah.
And it's nice because M has an audience, so you can just see what happened, like use them as like a experimental pool.
Yeah, very. And if this thing actually works, because we've been going back and forth on doing something subscription based for things that you would use recurringly. In Sweden, we have like Pampers, those things for new.
So
Yeah, Amazon
tissues
does
and
that
these would
too.
be the such a, yeah. So makeup accessory is the only thing that you don't need to deal with all of the licenses, because anything that you touches your face, especially makeup, tooth cream, those are just very difficult to get
But
the
makeup
certificates
remover is a
for.
different, yeah.
Yeah, that's almost just water. It's just one ingredients kind of a thing.
Yep.
Let
Interesting.
me, if this is true, oh my God.
Well, you'll find out soon.
Yeah, very soon.
Well,
This
you
is
haven't
what it looks
disappointed
like.
us this call. We were like, he's probably started a new business. You did.
There you go.
Prototype one.
We went through like bunch of different boxes and we had a puff in mind, and then the puff we had a design a bunch of things, and then we like, all right, great, we can actually order this and do it ourselves, and then that would be the puff.
Mhm.
But in puff
Does
you
Em
don't use it
love
as
doing
often.
this with you?
I think
I feel like I would
she's
have,
like,
I would love it. If I had someone
Really?
like helping me product design products that I'm already using and like get to sort of like customize it to what I think is good because I use it, like that would be fun.
yeah. I think with the between the compliment Marviaka and then now this one, she's like, we should slow down. we should wait. One of these are out, and I'm like, it's out. It's the tailors are doing the clothes, and what we do? What should we do during the meantime? Let's just do one more. So
What's
we do
going on
mood
with the
board.
clothes?
Let me show you actually. Let me touch on this. We
Yeah,
did
we need updates on
compliment
everything.
t-shirts.
Okay.
Yeah. We like, what's the best way to get the word out about a compliment agency without doing any marketing, because we would just go directly to the brand CMOs and with the through the contacts that she has, and then send them a new pitch, which is a basically profit sharing instead of paying influencers, and we manage all of the influencers and how we pay them. You would just pay us 20% of the money, and we bring the ocean of sales online that you need to survive during the COVID, because most people don't buy online here. They don't even know how.
Interesting.
And we like, and a lot of people went homeless because most of them are, as we talked about in the past, how Thai people are the most entrepreneurial kind of type of people. They have just a bunch of noodle shops, street food, small shops. All of them are dead because of COVID. So a lot of people went homeless.
Oh, that's too bad.
Then we figured, all right, the best way of marketing complements the marketing agencies by doing good instead of going by ads and such. We want to just be known in Bangkok. What's the cost of making clothes? We found a t-shirt factory. We've made some t-shirts over the past few days. Quality is good. We just print the name of compliment and then print it on the t-shirts, and then we are kind of looks like jail clothes, but I like it. You know the LA jail clothes where you go orange and then white pants. Yeah, we are doing all white with red. So this is the back of the t-shirt. This is this is the one that we're gonna wear because it's just very expensive to print this one. This is Bangkok at night.
That's cool.
And we say we all from the above look the same, and together we shine brightest. But the t-shirts that we are giving away and the clothes that we are giving away, just very simple t-shirts like this with compliment on it and some text. And we are giving it to all of the homeless people. And we are talking to some restaurants, some like juice makers and all of these small shops. They are already giving away to some hospitals. And we're like, what if we throw an event as soon as they ease up on the restrictions here? I think the social gathering, there's a limit of 5 people or something currently, but that should get lifted soon. And you guys contribute as much as you can, and then we pay as much as we can. Instead of spending our marketing budget on ads, we can do this, and this would actually bring the newspapers and such to cover it. That would both bring more awareness on Complement, but also bring more people that want to contribute to just join us. So that's Complement. But then let me show you Marviaka's clothes. We got it back. We changed the designs for I don't know how many times. But the process of making clothes is the most fun process that I've witnessed so far. Digital products are just becoming very boring. It takes time. So this is now the clothes. It's short jacket, and then there's this pants and there's buttons, but we are now doing it with this is not a real button here. So there's a prototype that we made with another tailor. And then we're gonna screen print. It looks like a flare kind of a pants, and then the jacket is short and kind of, it's all linen, the fabric, but it doesn't feel as it doesn't feel as or it doesn't look like something that you would expect from a linen type of a clothes, because they are very tropical, loose kind of a thing. Yeah, this has more shape and form to it. And then we're gonna screen the name on the back, and then that's it. She made a video and she's gonna put it online tomorrow, and we'll see.
Fun project.
This really is this, you know, I'm warming up to making my own stuff.
You gotta make the like 3D versions of this so that people can have them in like Fortnite in the metaverse and all that stuff.
Hell yeah.
There's a bunch of designers doing this now, like making 3D outfits and stuff, like because you can do cloth simulation and like the stuff that they sent over. And then people are gonna, I mean, they buy these outfits for their avatars and stuff. So there's another angle there. Make them an NFT.
Would have been, this all NFTs. So I'm either, I'm just, my brain. If I was the type of a person that would jump on things as they are hot.
Yeah, you'd be exhausted.
That would, but I think I would make a lot more money than I'm currently doing. I'm just doing things that I think it's worth the experiment.
I think that's a better approach. Do what you want to do rather than chasing fucking
chasing
trends.
hype is it's exhausting. I think I wouldn't know. I don't do it, but it's constantly changing.
Yeah, I can't keep up with those things. Crypto for that reason, but we talked about it. And I was thinking about I should probably make something that people ain't paying crypto or paying coins for, and problem solved. I don't need to go figure out how to go and buy these things.
Then you're gonna have a whole pile of crypto. You have to figure out what it does and how it works and where to invest it and how to stake it and how to, you know, make it turn into more, all of the things.
That's actually true. Oh, then better I don't start it.
Better that you don't have that problem. I mean, there's time. Like the ecosystem is like getting, I don't know, with every layer, it gets more sort of legible. And then there's an on-ramp for whoever, like, because you know, it's gonna, how it ends up shaking out. Will it look like an NFT, you know, auction house marketplace? I mean, that'll be part of it, but there'll be all kinds of other stuff. I think there is something to like designing outfits in the virtual, like, and then, you know, if you can bring those then into the real world, there's some connection to that.
That's really interesting. Cool. Like if you could be wearing the same clothes as some kind of avatar walking around, like a game, like a MMO, that'd be really cool.
Yeah, I don't know how it's all going to shake out and where that's all going to play, but I have noticed, like, because I sort of have like some vibe things that I follow and some fashion things that I keep up on like really loosely since I'm not doing a lot of that work anymore. But there have been more and more designers that are moving into fashion and doing like building these things in whatever the
virtual.
I don't know if it's Unity or what, but wherever there's like crazy cloth simulation. I've been noticing them on Instagram a lot too. It's usually like illustrators are doing a lot of this, and
is that the app that Charles has used in the past? Like he's the only one I remember.
Instagram?
No, Unity. To like
I mean, Unity is a big.
he created like a little fuzzball thing and like gave it hair. This was a while ago.
I don't know where he modeled that.
Okay.
Yeah, there's like Cinema 4D and all these apps. I haven't really played with all the 3D stuff recently.
It's interesting though.
It renders, Unity can render out into like web stuff, and you can make games out of it. You can do all kinds of stuff. But yeah, I've been noticing a lot of this on Instagram, like in my sort of like inspiration feeds, like people making characters and then, or like doing like mannequin style characters and then dressing them up in like different fashions or whatever. And then people are like, holy shit, I want this thing or whatever it is. So, yeah, there's an interesting.
NFT or how they want this?
So far I haven't like followed through the pattern. I know that the NFT stuff is, I don't know what platforms are like actually supporting this. I know in Fortnite you can build these things, and then other games, I don't know how portable they are yet though. Because the NFT would allow you to buy it in one place and then use it everywhere, but you have to have the ecosystem to do that. So it may be that like you can mint one of these things as an NFT in a specific file format, and then you can sell the rights to that, like on OpenSea or any of the like auction networks.
That's interesting. Yeah, it's sort of like the technical version of a, what do they call them? The sewing patterns, where you could like,
Ooh,
like you can make a skirt that looks like this, and you can buy whatever fabric or whatever, but you could sell like, here's either the instructions or here's, I guess, the skirt itself.
There's a bunch of things that are going to pop up with that, with the fashion
stuff. That is going to be a whole thing, like the personas we were talking about, the like Lil Michaela. I think we might have talked about this last time, that are digital avatars effectively.
The digital influencers.
Everyone's going to have their own avatar at some point. You can dress them up how you want.
So yeah, that's how that's happening. The digital influencers are wearing an outfit, and then they'll sell the outfit as an NFT, and then collectors can like have the outfit effectively. There's only one of them, or there's a limited run or whatever.
The world's getting weirder.
I will never participate.
Yeah, right.
You will. You're gonna love it. You're gonna be the king.
You're gonna have a virtual fashion house.
You're gonna be king of it.
This makes sense somehow. Farzad's virtual fashion house.
Keep fighting it. The longer you fight it, the more it'll stick.
Well, let's see how long Bitcoin has been around. I've been fighting that for a very long time.
Yeah.
And VR too. Is it VR and AR? I should probably know this as an agency owner, but VR is the PlayStation, right?
Yeah. Well,
and
VR
AR is.
Yeah. So, I mean,
artificial.
Probably Oculus and HTC are the biggest ones. Facebook and I forget, Steam. Those two companies probably are the biggest players at this point.
Steam?
Yeah, and it's Steam and Valve software. Yeah, so the VR ones are closed environment. You can't see out into the world. It is just a big, some of those things are fucking wild. They're rad. They're addicting, and I'm not going anywhere near them, but they're cool to play in. And then the AR stuff is like painting onto the real world digital assets.
Yeah.
And so
AR, I get. VR, no.
Yeah, I mean, I think that AR is probably a more like viable path for certain things, but they both have their uses. I don't know. Like there's the possibility like that the technology and the software and all of this crypto stuff is all going to come together into a kind of like iPhone kind of product that like combines all of these into one like format. I can feel that. I don't know what. I'm not paying enough attention to this stuff.
Explain that a little bit. So.
All right. So you had the iPod, you had phones, and then you had web browsers, and you had all of those things. And then Steve Jobs is like, "Here's an iPhone. It does all of that. You're gonna do all of that on this thing." And it's separate lines of development converging into an ecosystem. This is also happening with AR and VR. Like Apple is pushing on the AR front. Like they've got all of the software, and they've got all these sensors that, you know, they'll probably do glasses at some point. I don't know what the actual interface is going to be.
So there's a new piece of hardware that you're seeing, like that.
I don't know if it's hardware, software, you know, it's all of those things into an ecosystem where there's development, there's a, you know, there's a financial aspect to it, all of these kinds of things. So it's, and we've got a lot of like open technologies that are floating around right now. And some of those are going to come together into some interface that human beings like a lot. So I don't know. We'll see. I have no idea.
I just want to be able to program smells so that you can be like watching something and smell something at the same time. I don't know why.
Wow.
I've always
Taste
wanted this.
too.
Yeah,
that would be cool.
exactly.
Ordering
There's like a
food
3D
is so much
printer.
easier.
Associated with your computer.
They're gonna skip the smell altogether, and it's just gonna be the like chips that you put in your brain, and it'll like.
It just feels like you're smelling. It feels like you're eating.
It'll send electricity through your neuro pathways, and then you're like, oh, it smells like burgers right now.
And everyone's like, what are you talking about? No, it doesn't. You're like, it does to me.
Yeah, it's
I
like
just
having a
press the
stroke
button.
all the time.
Smells like burnt toast.
Exactly. That's next. Yeah.
Let's figure out how we get to F3 before we get to that. Is it after
Maybe.
that? It's probably after that.
It's Web
Is it
4
around
is
that
all
time?
smell based.
All smell based.
Completely. It's a smell based economy.
Good.
Imagine
Yeah.
what things have to change to get to the.
I'll be right back.
Okay. Good luck. I don't think so. But yeah.
I feel like you should change where you sit. So instead of staring at the parking lot, you can just stare at the rooftop on the other side. Just a lot more.
Which side? What?
I
get to look out
the
into
right
the
side
mountains.
of you. Mountains? I thought it was parking
That's
lot.
what I'm seeing.
You
right now.
just look up. Yeah.
Yeah,
That's actually an
don't look down
interesting
there.
thing. If you ask people, ask people. It's very interesting. Like most people, when they are walking and looking, I guess, they look kind of stare right in front of them, or just a bit further away, and then some people just all the way staring at pigeons in the sky. And you have some people that just go and look straight ahead.
Yeah, I've been
Which
thinking
ones
about
are-
this. Like when we're on the height, I mean, it differs based on the terrain. Like one of the things that I've noticed in, like, so Kristen and I do these walks where like here it's nice because you can hike, and then like the paths are all clearly marked, so you can just walk without having to like wayfind. You don't have to like pay full attention, but you can still soak it in. And I noticed that like one of the styles of walking that I do, especially when I'm thinking and walking, is that like you can just piggyback on somebody else, just follow them, like you know, and then I can think, but I'm still moving. And so, and then all of a sudden she's like, look at this flower. And I'm like, why? Because I'm like in my head, but in the environment, it's a style of, and there are other times where I'm like, if I'm leading, then I'm like scanning the environment. I'm like looking ahead. I'm looking at the terrain. I'm like, I'm processing where we might go, like how far away we are from things, right? Like, and it depends on the environment. So like, you know, I can very rarely like just zone out though, like just walk somewhere and like, oh, look at that. That's fine. I'm like constantly like, what's going on? What's happening? What are you doing? But some people, they can just like stroll. I can't stroll. I gotta like I'm like going somewhere. I'm working, or I'm like, you know, I'm getting exercise in. I don't know. If you get rid of that energy though, then sometimes like if I'm in a relaxed place, I'm just like, man, have you ever looked at a tree? Like, look at this tree. It's a good tree.
Yeah,
I don't know.
That's when you are most happy, I guess.
Oh yeah.
But it's the same concept of like catching on somebody's draft. That's what I recently got educated on when you're cycling.
Yep. Same thing.
Yeah. Walking has it.
Yeah, it's like being puppeted, being led in a certain way, so that you're like Like, you know, we were gonna test and see if like Kristen could drive today, because I tend to like to drive. I don't think it's gonna happen. Not yet. I'm not ready. I have trouble being a passenger. I'm not great at it. Takes work. I don't know what to do with myself.
Yeah, he's like, what am I gonna do? And I told him what happens when you are a passenger. You get to take in the sights, you get to navigate, you get to do all kinds of stuff. But it can be like a full experience if you have to relax though. And he's just like, I don't know. And I'm, okay.
Yeah, that's the part we need to do to engage. If you are not engaged, then the mind takes over the control over us, and that's not an enjoyable place to be. That's probably.
You don't know what to do, huh? All right. We're just gonna switch this real quick. Hold on.
I can just act like.
Just do that back and forth. I think.
Great, it's gonna crash now. Can you hear? Did you get a?
Can
Did you get a bloop?
I got a bloop. I didn't get a bloop, but I can hear.
Okay. Yeah, I don't know. I'm much better with being a passenger sometimes.
What times?
I don't know. You were driving around somewhere.
Never
having
times.
a great old time.
You weren't feeling well or something.
If I'm feeling sick, then I'll let you drive. Yeah.
I get
I don't know
motion sickness by just hearing this. I can't.
You have to be driving.
I need to drive.
Yeah.
Yeah. Especially if my
can't
mother
read.
drives. I just want to open the door and jump out.
Yeah.
You can't breathe?
I can't read and drive, or I can't read and drive. I can't read and be a passenger. I was trying to the other day. I have to like put something over my head so I can't see the passing. Because if I see the landscape passing like this at the same time as reading, it doesn't work.
Yeah, like, I don't mind it. Like, when we were driving around the other day, I'm like, oh, look at all this stuff I haven't seen. Where were we?
I don't know.
We were in Arizona. That's one thing. Like, if you're on these long road trips, you get to see a lot more stuff. And then normally what I do, like, because I've done road trips with my family, like, pretty recently, like in the past, I don't know, 5 or 6 years. And then my dad drives. I'm not driving.
You did a road trip with your family?
Yeah, well, we would go to Tahoe. Where else did we go? Yeah, from Vegas to Tahoe, we did that trip. And then in the past decade or so.
I haven't done driving trips with my family.
Yeah,
I can't imagine that. We used to do that all the time growing up, though. 4 kids in the back of the car.
Yeah, it was the whole family in the car, and then I just filmed things.
My mom just peed in a bottle for the first time in her life on a road trip because I forget what the reasoning was, but she was so proud of herself. She's like, I did it myself. And I was like, well, I hope you did it yourself.
She had to get her to stop and give her tips.
I think maybe because it was like a really bad storm and she really had to pee and she just pulled over to the side of the road.
Yeah.
It was very good. And then I thought she was saying that she was driving at the same time. It's like, you were driving and you peed in a bottle? Like, that's insane.
It's a pro move.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Off to a great start.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm probably going to drive.
That's fine. I was thinking we could go to a diner.
I'm into that. I'm hungry. Yeah, I think I'm ready to get on the road here. I'm a little squirrely right now.
He gets really squirrely.
I'm ready to go. It's hard. Like
this morning we were trying to talk logistics and he's just like, what are you saying? Are you like proposing and I was just like, I'm just laying out like the options. And he's just like, I don't know.
We put the stuff in the car and then we go. That's the option.
But that's not what we did this time. We put the stuff in the car except for our computers.
Yeah.
And then like our computer bags. And then we're going to go have a call. And he's just like, okay.
Not used to it. It's not my normal pattern.
It's good for you though.
Yeah. Yeah, it's harder to concentrate. I don't know what that is. Like, it's partially there's an energy in these transitions, like moving from place to place. I'm better at it than I have been, right? It makes me anxious for whatever reason. And it's a like deep down anxiety, like something that I'm like, it doesn't make any sense. Yeah. And so I want to be on the move. Like, I don't want to wait around. I don't like goodbyes. I don't like, all that stuff. And so trying to slow all that down and like feel into it is sometimes it's too much. And I'm like, I can't do this one. We just got to go. So, yeah.
I don't mind as much.
Yeah.
Like
well, you don't like leaving places. You dilly-dally.
It's kind of, I'm getting better, way better. I feel like it's nice to have a call like this because then we're not leaving until after the call and everything's sort of packed up already. So it's pretty easy. Just, okay.
I like getting up and putting things in the car and going. No,
not me.
No lazing around.
I like to dilly dally.
This place is dead to us. We've got to go.
Yeah.
Getting better about it. Trying different methods. I don't know.
You eat breakfast in the morning? I forgot. Yeah.
Really? Usually not, just coffee.
I do a little something before coffee because I don't like I've been eating peanut butter or like a banana because I don't like it on an empty stomach.
Yeah. Yeah, it depends. Like on the road, I've been shifting it around some because, there's a lot of variables now. Like I'm not like in a set pattern all the time. The only pattern I have is like every morning I wake up, I write, and then I do Qigong. Like there's no debating that, but everything else is up for grabs. I've been like having conversations in the morning here because people are around and then they're just like.
It's nice though. You like that, right?
Yeah, it's nice. I do like having people to talk to. I mean, sometimes, sometimes it's, I'm like, oh, that's how that works, huh? Just somebody telling you exactly how the world works. I'm like, okay.
There's a lot of that.
Yeah. I get to know how the world works at least.
I mean, it's different perspectives on how the world works.
It's easier to write that morning because I just write down what they tell me. And here's how the world works, according to this guy. But yeah. Anyhow.
So many interesting people as just hearing their worldviews.
Really. Mm-hmm. I am kind of looking forward to doing like hostels and stuff in Europe and then maybe Asia.
Yeah.
To see what the scene is like there. They have they have a lot more types of hostels. I was researching it yesterday. There's like the nomading ones, the digital nomading ones that are popping up.
Oh yeah.
That are specifically like oriented around working, and then some for older people where it's like quieter and stuff. Then they have the party hostels, which are just, nutcases. And then there's like luxury hostels now, which are basically like they're like appointed like a hotel would be, but you then have communal space. That place I stayed in Oslo, that Viking hotel, kind of had that. They had like a big like communal like eating place and stuff like that. It's still a hotel though.
I think there's the Bivy hostel that a couple people have recommended. There's a couple in Colorado, Breckenridge and Telluride.
Yeah, like big mountain towns.
I think those are kind of like that.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the feedback we've gotten. They're like super nice.
Yeah. It's either that or you got to get a group of people together so you can afford big, ridiculous
a
houses.
style house. Yeah.
Effectively, yeah. I'd like to travel like that, like a circus.
30 people.
Mm-hmm. Everybody has like a gypsy wagon. It's fine.
I'm into it.
And everything is so cheap here.
Yeah, I'm excited
They
to
are
visit.
selling a lot of villas here in the islands.
Really?
It's actually a great time to buy a vacation.
Buy an island.
Buy an island.
There are so many crypto people doing that.
Yeah,
I bet,
it's
yeah.
such a thing. There's some like we've talked to a bunch of people who that's sort of their. If I could just have an island with my friends, my dream is to go like be on an island. And we're like, what?
But if all of your friends have the same idea, they all don't want to be on your island.
Everyone
So
wants their
like
own
you're
island.
just going to be on an island by yourself, which is like I've seen that movie. It's called Castaway. He loses his mind and has a friend that's a volleyball. So no, like the thing, the shortcut to that is like find people that you can work with and that you can like make things that you like being around, and then maybe like try to live together, see if that works.
Yeah.
You know, otherwise you're gonna have to foot the bill for this island. That's fucking expensive. So unless you get really rich. Yeah.
So why are the villas opening up now?
No, it just a bunch of people came here some time ago, bought all of these places and then Airbnb them out. And then now during the COVID, they're just taking such a big hit that they can't
just
wait
offloading
anymore.
them. Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
We were just watching a show about Japan, and similar thing, but for different reasons, where because the country skews much older, like they haven't had, I don't know if you would call it like replenished generations, like they're not replenishing their population growth as much. I don't know if that's changed. I'm not sure what's going on there.
It's in decline. Yeah.
But tons of places, like all of the younger people are going urban. So tons of places out in the countryside, and I'm assuming some islands, they're just vacant. No one lives there anymore.
And they're like the most staggeringly beautiful places you've seen. It's crazy, like 1,000-year-old bridges and, you know, like ravines, and it's just fucking madness.
And they don't think that they're going to repopulate either, which
I think
in the near future. So
yeah,
I'm curious to check that out to see what that feels like. When we were talking about mannequins earlier, there was this one village where there was a schoolhouse, and the last kids that went to school there was in like 2002.
Yeah.
And this artist, she created effectively mannequins and homemade clothing garments for all of these mannequins in the school. So it looks like there's kids and teachers in the school. It's like super creepy.
The whole village is empty. There's 27 people who live there and 270 mannequins out in front of all the buildings.
So weird.
So yeah, that's a thing.
Mm-hmm.
So anyways, there's places in Japan.
Japan, Thailand.
Yep.
We got to start traveling.
Any day over Thailand.
Yeah.
Not to complain about Thailand, but
but I'm gonna do it.
I mean, you've been in the same place for a little bit.
Yeah.
Sometimes you got to complain. It's fine. It keeps you healthy and young. That's what complaining does.
That's what old people say always. No, I'm just letting go of something.
Yeah. I'm built like an old person. I get that. That makes sense. I mean, I do qigong every day. It's basically by a guy who's leading a bunch of like 80-year-olds. I'm like, this is great.
It works.
Yeah.
I was born old.
Mm-hmm. Your body's just catching up.
I really truly believe that, because when I was younger, I wasn't into too much adventure. I was such a safe person. Like, no, oh, that's dangerous. But now I'm like, what's dangerous? Let's just go do it. But yeah, I'm as older I'm getting, the more open I am to just take on more risks, which is a weird way of
I think it's a better way. Yeah, I think it's good though. Like if you're younger and you don't have any idea of what the risk is, like you blow yourself up somehow. And like, you know, so like managed risk when you're older, it's fun. It keeps you youthful, I think. So you have nothing to lose really. Like the risk is part of it's pushing on the feeling that you have things to lose. And like to sort of see where you find value in this stuff. Yeah, I don't know. I'm like, I'm on a weird spot with that right now. Like
with risk?
Yeah. Well, I don't know. Like the riskiest thing to do for me is not work on things that I care about. Anything that is not that is risky. It's a waste of time, or however you want to look at it, or a waste of like being in alignment with the world. And now it's like sort of artistic risk or like expression risk, these kinds of things, poking into territory where like I don't really know what I'm doing. Like I'm trying to figure out like writing in a form that makes sense to me, and or like publishing like sort of larger scale ideas. But I've never really been comfortable with that. I prefer to just put out the thing and be like, if it works, there's the larger scale idea, done. But now like sort of talking about the like sort of meta behind it, or like figuring, you know, and then she and I are trying to figure out how to write together, but our styles are wildly different. And so, yeah, there's like
a journal, or like a co-writing something with the same kind of topic, or what is it?
Yeah,
kind of
basically both of those
Yeah.
things. And then how to do that
It's
on any
this-
sort of consistent basis, you know?
It's the
Like-
stuff that you're pushing us to do. And
Yeah.
every time we talk to our families and friends, they're like, where are you? What's
Yeah.
going on? And we're like, we should be sharing
Ah,
this.
yeah,
For some reason,
sure.
it's the, not the, I guess the paradox of choice. Like there's so many things to write about.
Yeah.
How do we focus? Yeah.
Yeah, like how do you narrow it down, and then like what needs to be said? How do you
Oh
start
my
the
God.
experimentation? All that stuff.
Overthinking every
Yeah.
step
Yeah.
of the bit.
That's how it
Agreed.
goes. Like, so the thing that's attached to this though is like I have a bunch of like, I don't know what it is, like PTSD around this is the best way to sort of like, when I start thinking about releasing this kind of work, my brain flips the fuck out. It just, I start getting panicky, and like I feel like the world is closing in on me, and like I don't know where this comes from. So I'm like slowly working through, and the only way to get through that is to release things.
Yeah.
Part of
Yeah.
that though is I have like an old conditioned response to what I think I'm doing, and what I think I'm doing versus what we are trying to do are two different things. So I'm having a response to something that I'm not doing, in place of what we are actually playing with. So like it's the work is basically to give myself room to like, okay, edge up to it, see what's going on, like write out what I'm thinking, you know, like giving myself room to feel crazy. That's fine. And not forcing it. Because in the past, I could do this. I would just feel that insanity and then just like, you know, crank out
I
something.
think it might also be a perfectionism thing that whatever you produce, you don't have to like it.
Yeah.
Like there's like a thing with writing sometimes where you read it, and, oh, I don't like that,
Yeah.
but it's fine. Just put it out there. It's the same thing with the
There-
videos. Like
Yeah,
just put it out
Oh.
there. Yeah.
actually, that practice, or the thing that we're doing here, done
Yeah.
so much to all of the things that.
Yeah.
I mean, this little experiment's impact was big, much
Yeah.
much bigger than I thought.
That's cool.
But all of the things that we are doing now, where we go, hey, nobody cares, just whatever,
Yeah.
take a screenshot, put it online. It's just all outcome of this.
Yep.
And we started with the biggest one, which is like putting videos of ourselves online. But the whole anxiety thing, I've been looking into it because I've been feeling it lately a lot.
Yeah.
I wonder, because this whole like me starting a bunch of stuff up is always, I was talking to my family the other day, I'm like, fuck, I'm probably running away from something again, because I'm just
Probably.
starting bunch of projects, and it's not good. I know I'm making myself busy.
Yeah.
And trying to get the excitement from something that,
Yep.
you know, I guess like my lifestyle is more of something needs to happen on a weekly basis. Otherwise I
Yeah.
just lose my mind. And that used to be like, I go out during the weekends, and then that kind of resets my mind. And then on Monday I'm back to work. But not having that, I'm like, fuck, what kind of a fun thing that I can do? And I'm all right, let's just start this and then see if it actually works, and a bunch of these experiments. And then the more and more of this I do, I'm like, ah, shit, this is probably a much bigger problem that I'm running away from. Because I haven't had the free mind space for at least a couple of months now.
Mhm.
So there's no
There's no time.
there's no gap. Yeah.
Yep.
It's just
Yeah.
like, okay, from this to this to this. And then right before I sleep, I'm like, let's not forget about these things when I wake up. And when I wake up, let me just add 2 more things on that list that I just said last night. So it just, I'm on that tab as soon as I open my eyes.
Yep.
Um,
And as soon as I start working, great team. So it's just very fun to talk and make progress together.
Mhm.
But now that we are getting close to releasing all of these things, yeah, whew. Let's just get it out. Let's just get it out as soon as possible. But let's just hope that it plays out. Because you've been making yourself busy this entire time, probably running work on a bunch of other stuff. And then you put it online, it doesn't get the result that you're looking for.
Yep.
Dang. Oof.
Yeah. Well, the thing that you've been, whatever the thing is that you're not paying attention to, it's basically like, I don't know, picking up steam right now.
Yep.
It's like not being watched. So it's like in the corner doing whatever it's doing, like, let me out, let me out.
Yeah.
It's like,
Yeah.
it's brewing. I don't know, but at least you have an awareness of the process of it happening. And if like, yeah, whatever happens next, you can watch it unfold and be like, whether or not your projects take off, like that's kind of besides the point. Because either way, you're probably going to get to a juncture where you're going to want to pause and look at what you're not looking at. Who knows how soon that is, but it'll happen.
The anxiety makes it hard to look at it because it feels so overwhelming, like so potent in whatever way that the potency shows up. Like the writing stuff for me.
Yeah.
I call it writing. I don't know what it actually is.
Journaling.
I mean the
writing,
the part of me
publishing,
that is like reacting to whatever it is that I'm not sensible. I can't even talk to the thing yet because it's so flipped out at times. So like the work ends up being like some mornings just like, like basically writing to myself or writing to that part of me that's flipping out, like asking it, what do you need? What's going on? Like, I like ran into that. There's a therapy technique called IFS. It's like internal family systems. And the mentality is around like there are different parts of you and some of those parts of you go through like sort of traumatic experiences or experiences that are overwhelming in some way. And the other parts of you can fall into roles like protector and manager. And like the sort of artistic part of you can like, or whatever that like becomes an exile, and the protectors won't let anything like get near it, right? So or a manager can like set you up with a lot of work to do so that the exile part of you doesn't have a chance to like feel the pain. So these mental models are like helpful. And so I like sort of, I'm like, okay, I can use that model to like write, what is the part of me? Is it a protector? Is it a this or that or whatever? Yeah. It doesn't always fit.
What part of you is driving at the moment kind of thing?
Yeah, so like, and you can kind of tease out like, I am doing a behavior right now because I don't want that part of me to feel what it is trying to feel. And you can kind of make deals with the parts of you that are like protecting or managing or cordoning off. Like for right now, let's just chill for a bit and like see what that part of me needs to say or needs to express or needs to feel or whatever. And it's sort of carving out time around that practice, knowing that it's work. Like that's the work. Like it's hard. Like it's not like, relaxation time necessarily, but it allows me to relax later because I've worked through some of that stuff. So I was writing about this, like I'm going back through old journals and sort of like tracking my progress on things, noticing where I'm like writing the same shit over and over again. And then like, okay, that sparks something in me. And then I start writing about it. And I recognized in this practice that like, I need to set aside specific time to do this every week, like where nothing else can come into it. It's like, and I'm going to put it on Sundays because Sundays are already like a holy day to a lot of people. So they'll understand it's like sacred time. Right. And like what I do there is I like listen to music and sort of read my writing, like maybe do some of these like therapeutic things. And every time I do this, it's like working out. It's the same fitness. It's just like, it's working through like stuff that needs to be healed or stuff that needs to be looked at, or like just processing out things that I've been ignoring.
Yep.
And it can be painful sometimes. Sometimes I'll take a little weed because it like calms me down. And then I'm able to like sort of get into the flow of like talking to myself over time. And through the process of this, like I'm starting to have like a fuller view of what I might be hiding from, like where the shadows might be. And there are things that I can sort of work on. Like it takes time though, like it's fucking hard. Like, and if I need to bring in outside help, then I at least know the area that I want to work on with somebody else, you know, because and you know, or I know that there's a pocket of stuff that I'm going to need to get to at some point. I don't need to do it now because like it's fine, but it will show up at some point. So it's sort of, you know, keeping a mental catalog of where I'm at in relationship to the world. And then, you know, if I'm taking on somebody else's bullshit, then I'm like, that's not mine. Fuck that. That's out of here. So anyways, I've been like sort of building this as a practice, like, and if I don't do this, it starts to like the plaque starts to build up and I start getting anxious. I start flipping out about things that aren't there. Like, so yeah, it's work in progress.
Good.
Yeah, I think so. It sucks, but it gets fun because that same energy that I have for like chasing, you know, like that same curiosity, I can start to apply it to
internal.
Yeah. Like and personifying this stuff works really well for me because then I can show compassion to the parts of myself. Like, oh, you're just trying to do the thing that you're trying to do. And you're doing a job that like, this is one of the concepts is in that the IFS system is like, you've got parts of yourself that are doing jobs that they're not made to do. Like, you know, you've got a part of yourself that's artistic, but it's having to do management or something. And it fucking hates it. So it like acts out all the time. And so like, if you can square that away and like, let that energy like move into another system, then like the artistic part of you can express in the way, you know, some of this is happening with your fashion work, right? Like, oh, you love it's enlivening you, right? But yeah, it's a shuffling of all this stuff. I don't know how it all shakes out, but we'll see.
Compassion through naming or identifying different parts of you. That's cool.
Because if it's a person, you can, even if you dislike that part of you, the work is, how do I get to know that person enough to like them? Like this internal part of me that I have been at war with. Like, how do you make peace with that person? And for me, it's, I make friends with them.
Yeah.
Like, what does that part of me know about the world that I'm not letting out? And then I'm like, oh, that's interesting. I didn't know that I knew that, or I cared about that. And then it like, you can sort of build a relationship with yourself in this way. And when that, you know, like anything, if you start to develop a friendship with people, you want to hang out with that person more, you want to be around them more, and the whole of you becomes like fuller, like the thing that you can express in the world becomes more likely, more plausible.
Sounds so neat.
Yeah.
It's a mess while it happens.
That's a problem though, you know, because always you go, I mean, we have it where we say, you need to make friends with your enemies, but if we do it, but we don't do it with ourselves, so the part that we hate about ourselves, we try to just run away from it, it comes out, oh, fuck. Make yourself busy with something else, but then if you actually do it the other way around, you would probably solve a lot of meaningful work or misalignments with whoever you want to be and whoever you currently are.
Yeah. Your work, it's like working as a team in your internal mind, right? So like, how do we do this together?
If you don't pay attention to certain parts of yourself, you're not really aware of how it's operating through you. And what happens is the part of you that you don't like is still coming out. So you're like attracting that energy back because you're putting it out because you're not paying attention to it. So this, there's some good examples of this. I don't have any off the top of my head where people talk about this all the time. Why does this kind of person keep coming into my life? Well, why are you attracting that person? I'm not doing that. Well, somehow, I mean, this is like
Yeah.
most people's history
Yeah.
with dating. Why is
Yep.
it always the same type of man or woman or person that's always coming back? Well, what is it that it is in you that hasn't worked out some like aspect of what that type of person is? Because you're the one attracting them.
Yep.
You keep saying yes to it. For whatever reason, you're projecting it out onto someone else to work through it. Yeah.
I wonder why mine is like complete this, the opposite of every person is very drastically different compared to the other.
Interesting. There's probably some
Project.
similarity.
Yeah, there's always a thread. You like really study it, you'll find that thread, and you're like, oh, I see.
Maybe in retrospect.
This
over
is part
time.
of getting older, like looking back at relationships that I had when I was younger. I'm like, oh, that's what you're trying to fix, or that's what you're
Or you
like
were trying
insecure
on for
about,
size,
or
yeah.
you know, yeah. Or there was a pattern in some of the women I dated before Kristen, like they had attributes that were like, you know, they're smart in a particular kind of way. They're like sort of, you know, maybe okay with artist types, but like they had this other thing, and like there's these little scattered pieces across all of the people that I dated, and then they all come together in Kristen, like as one sort of holistic person. But I knew some of the component parts, or like my
Yeah,
instinct was
you
driving me towards those
recognized,
people,
yeah.
but we weren't like a match in that sense. So yeah, I don't know. It's trial and error with anything, right? Like you can't know. All you can do is like sort of put together experiments to try and get more information, and then observe your experimentation process. Because if you're not looking at that process, like you're just acting like based on instinct all the time. So, you know, it's balancing, because especially designer types, right? We have like empathy and intuition, and we can usually find the thing, right? And we can even come up with a justification for why that worked, or I can anyway. But if I'm not studying it, if I'm not writing about it and looking back at how wrong I am most of the time, like I don't get better at the process of intuition. So like there's a process of marking up your intuition so that you know the code that you're operating. And if you're operating based on a code that's like landing you in cul-de-sacs all the time, the only way you're going to know is if you have people telling you, and if you're also like in conversation with yourself. This is like a extremely flawed system and barely works, but it's better than nothing.
By the way, that thing Dave said, that's on video. That's probably the biggest compliment. All of the best things from everybody all gathered into just one person. That should be, yeah. So whenever, if you're upset with Dave, just listen to this
Just
part
go
of
watch
the video.
this. Yeah.
There you go. She doesn't get upset with me. I'm
Calm down.
perfect.
Yeah, he's perfect. He's never annoying me with some kind of antic.
It's tough when you have to figure out the world all the time.
It is hard, the like dramatic artist type in him. I'm just like, oh my God. He likes to put on a whole show about things.
I don't like to do it.
I don't know.
That's just how it works.
No, exactly. And like, why you make everything always so complicated? I'm like, I don't want
I don't
to do
know.
it. It just there's
it's
no
like
other
that.
way from me. Yeah.
Give me another option.
So one
I
of the
mean,
things that we do with that is like, I can call him out on it and he gets like defensive, and I'm like, no, let's just have it like out in the open and then just sit with it. Cause like, what's going on? Cause this is getting a little ridiculous. And he's like, yeah, it is a little ridiculous. So like, what is it? Like, why?
This
like,
is
and then I'm like, I'm not actually upset with you. Like I get frustrated. So we have to like air that a little bit. And I'm like, but I'm not mad at you, but like, what's with the drama? Like, where is this? And
I mean,
then we kind of tease it apart and you could talk about it. And if this has been, I feel like lately we've been doing this more and like sitting with it and being uncomfortable, because it is uncomfortable to confront someone and be like, you're being crazy right now. Oh,
you're being crazy. Yeah, like this,
you get to good stuff though if you could sit through the part of like, okay, like what's going on, like it gets really intense, and then like give it a few minutes, talk things through a little bit, and then go back into it. Or even the next day, like go back into it. We're doing this with writing, like just calmly sit with it, because the freak out part, I don't know, like I get freaked out confronting, and then he gets freaked out being confronted, and then.
Yeah, so it's back to this IFS thing. Like I need to look into I think I'm probably going to go try to find a therapist to work with for a little bit to feel it out. But one of the component parts of it is it's role playing.
Yeah.
So these parts that come up, and then you just said it, this part and that part and whatever.
Yeah.
Like,
who are we talking to right now, basically?
Yeah, like these people are trained to, like, when you're reacting from a place, they can talk to that place, give it agency, and you can like say it out loud. This part of me is feeling like this.
Yep.
And then you can like move further into that kind of thing. And if that part of you can give voice, then there's the possibility that like you can see these parts of you that are working like in the background, and then they now have like a characterized persona that may give you like framing to. One of the things they're talking about is like, you got a lot of parts and they're all yelling at each other. Like these therapists can like sort of, they have the skill to like sort of isolate the parts, or like notice that they have a specific character and then move them away from each other. Like give them room to breathe.
Interesting. Yep.
So I'm curious to try these kinds of things. And I think Kristen and I have sort of naturally fallen into something like that, but I start to feel nuts when I am acting through a character and I don't know who it is or what's happening. Like, and I get like really like agitated about this because it feels extremely wrong. Like I am acting inappropriately or something, right? Like there's a literal acting part of it, right? So like, okay, so if I am acting, give that persona a stage. Like,
yeah, I have
let
to
them
calm
act.
it down when I get like, this is where I get overwhelmed and like something's triggering me. And if you call me out on it, I'm like, I can't respond from the place. Like I need to like, give it a little bit of time because it feels crazy. Because it's like, it's almost like blacking out into like whatever the emotion is. And you're like, I just need to just give me a second. And then I could usually calm down and I'm like, okay, like I don't know what's happening right now. And sometimes I just, it's like it's too soon. We can't do that right now. I'm not ready to touch it. I don't know what it is. For me, it's always, an hour ago when I freaked out, I think this is what was happening.
Yeah. There's room and space. And then like that material is like, it's information like about what's going on in your psyche, and you can interrogate it effectively. That's where I go. But like you can compassionately,
I'm way more chill
unpack
with
it and blah, 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 all that stuff.
Because my stuff will like work itself out if I let it and then come back to it. And he's all like, and I'm like, I don't work that way. But
yeah, because your characters are chill. Mine are all like maniacs.
It's good.
I wonder though, like acting from a persona or kind of a character that you think you are not. The thing that I'm wondering about, like something interests you and then that becomes like something that you like, you do it, you receive feedback, you're like, hooked on the feedback. But then maybe you figure out later, like, I don't like it as much, it's torture. But I'm getting so much positive feedback, let's just go.
Yeah, that one's a hard one.
Yeah.
Well, that one is an interesting one too, because you kind of have to look at what drew me to do this in the first place if I don't like it. So that's one piece. And then the second piece, why do I stay just for the positive feedback even when I don't like it? Because there's like two like sort of distinct things happening there. I had this. It's hard. Like because there's an identity that comes along with I'm someone that does this like this. And then if you have to look at why, like
there's status and confidence that comes with it. Like I've been wrestling this thing with design as a practice generally. And design as a practice, like, you're going through a bit of this now, like the digital design stuff, and then you're moving the skills laterally over into other areas, right? And that's tough because you're good at the thing that you're good at, right? And so the way I've been trying to square this is that I'm just a beginner at everything. I just suck at it. It's fine. Sucking at everything is fine. Like, that's just how it goes. And there are times in which I surprise myself because patterns of thinking that I've learned through designing like systems and stuff like that show up in an environment that I didn't know that they were useful. So like design as a meta practice, as something that is a philosophical stance in relationship to the world, can be useful in all sorts of ways.
Yeah.
And if you over index on something like, virtual design or, digital design or something like that, like it doesn't have enough room to breathe and become the practice, like holistic practice of, playing across a bunch of different mediums. And then also understanding that there is a mentality that is design centric, and there are other corresponding mentalities that are adjacent and can be helpful in, developing those things are important too. This is where the writing and communications and stuff like this, like learning how to legibilize my thought in a way that is counter to like marketing and counter to, it's boring. it's a different, kind of thing. But like, how do I make that boringness interesting in a way that it's an expressive possibility that I'm trying to, boring is it, anytime anything is boring, I'm hiding from it. Wow, that's boring. I go, is it boring?
That's not a trigger. That's a tell.
Yeah, it's a tell. It's like, oh, you're hiding from that thing because it's not novel enough. That means it's probably scary and hard and all the things that you need to do to learn about yourself or something. So, yeah.
It's like me as a kid. Apparently, I used to get bored of toys, and my parents would ask, like, why don't you like that anymore? And I'm like, it's just not fun anymore. And then as I think I was a teenager, we were on a road trip, and something came up, like some I don't know, extracurricular, some whatever. And they're like, why? Like, what's the deal? And I was like, it's just not fun anymore. And they looked at each other and they were like, holy shit. And I was like, what? And they're like, you've been saying that since you were a little kid. And I was like, what is that? Like the part of me. So for me, that's one, like, what are you hiding from? Because it's not like the novelty wore off or something. Yeah. So is it that you really don't like it? Like, what's going on?
Or that like actually coming to terms or learning about the thing.
Yeah, spending time in the space is uncomfortable, probably. Yeah,
because it's going to teach you something about how you are and how people are. And that shit's hard to learn because you got to rejigger your whole outlook on the world. Yeah.
It's fun being a human.
It has its moments.
It does have its moments.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah, this was good stuff. I didn't know I was thinking about as much of this as I was, so that's nice. Just you have to tell me how anxious you are, and then I'll barf up how anxious I am, and it works great.
Like, yeah, every time I avoid meditation, I know what's up.
Yeah.
I'm sitting, I'm like, it's such a perfect time to do some meditation.
Not gonna do it.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
I should probably do something.
I was just thinking about this earlier because my meditation right now is like really loud. And I was like, okay, I think I probably need to do some other different kinds of meditation or do it at different times, like spending a little bit more time with it.
Yeah, the moving meditation stuff helps so much for me, especially when I'm like jazzed up. This is why I do the Qigong, and I'm sure Tai Chi or any of these would work too. You're just like intentionally moving your body in flows. And then after that, like it relaxes you. And so I can sit and then do a seated meditation. Sometimes I don't need to. I've been doing mostly just moving meditation. And there's a process that when stuff bubbles up, like I can literally move it. I'm like, that goes over here and that comes over here. And then, okay, I'll pick that back up again and then we'll process it through. Like it's nice. Like it feels active. It feels, not productive, but it feels like work, like you're exercising something rather than sitting there and contemplating like the things that are coming up and then like, all right, let's move that one. You can do that virtually too, but the physical embodied movement helps a lot with it. It's the same thing. It's a mindfulness practice. Yeah, that's helped a ton. And I usually don't want to do it in the mornings, like, especially if I'm working through something very potent, because I know that it's going to suck like a little bit. But like, if I can get through the first 10 minutes of the thing, like, every single time I'm happy that I did it. Every time. Like,
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, it's good that I did that. I'm like, and then I get grateful. I'm like, I'm happy that I have this thing that I can do. And like, you know, I'm like full of, you know, so, but that 10 minutes sometimes is just, it's war. And I'm just like, dude, fucking just go move your limbs. You know how to do this. You've done it 100 days in a row, like, or whatever it is. So yeah.
Whatever. I recently bought an app, which I'm paying for weekly. By the way, when did
Weekly?
subscriptions become a thing?
What is it?
Yeah, like Apple Store, most of these things are pottery. So I'm like, yeah, there you go. So this is
weird.
Oh, that's cool.
Oh, is it like a
Yeah.
thing you can fiddle with? That's cool.
Yeah. Well, point is like anything I'm since I was a kid, I'm like, what's the point of this? There's no outcome, there's no result. Like, what are you you're wasting your time.
That voice.
Because of that,
get to
every
know that
single
voice.
This is the loudest voice in my head. It runs everybody.
Yeah.
It runs everybody. What are you
Truly.
doing? Get up. We got to get to work. Yeah.
Yeah.
Seriously.
You.
I know that guy.
The general.
Is it? That's how you name it?
That's
how
he
mine is,
named it.
What
yeah.
I would
General.
call it. Yeah.
Yeah, so like my strongest one is like the helper, the taking care of other people thing. So like that's the differences we're working with. His is the general and mine is like the over caring, which it's like his opposite end of the spectrum.
It works.
That's why it works.
But yeah, that's why it works, I think. Yeah. Mine is that voice, and basically with most people too, like just because of work. And I'm all right meditation, but in meditation now recently have become to a thing where I go, I didn't deliver the results that we were looking for. So now I'm like, I should probably find something that I do for no reason, but I like doing it, but I'm not trying to achieve anything from it.
Oh,
I'm not
yeah.
fucking pottery.
Yeah.
And
It's good.
it's actually enjoyable. I hate that it's in this. So I'm just trying to figure out what I can do without holding this. Probably, but I'm sure of it. If I do a physical version of this, I'm gonna be like, oh shit, it needs to look good. And then I'm like, oh, I should probably make an Instagram account for this. And then I'm like, can I sell this? And then I should probably make a Shopify thing for this. And then as soon as I do that, I'm like, I should probably talk to him, start selling it.
Yep.
And I'm like, what can I do where I'm just doing it for the sake of doing it? Because it brings me peace. Before I go into work kind of flows, and that usually lasts me about a few years, 6 months plus whatever, it can be 1 year or 1.5 years. And once I'm done with it, I take a year break. And I recognize this, that I'm in it, and I've been in it for the past 6 months, 7 months. So I guess I have 6 more months to go.
There you go.
4 months probably. But after December, I'm gonna check out for a year.
Really? Can we hold you to that? We could try. We're gonna fly in January 1st.
It's a work trip.
Put you in jail.
1 year.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's
Throw
so
the computers away.
I struggle with this shit. I still less so. I've worked out something for this. Because any artistic or creative or like healthy or any endeavor at all, I would try to turn into a business or, something like a project. So what I figured out was there have to be times and it is designing with time. There has to be some minimum set of time that I have in my week that is sacred. And then I sit down and I'm like, how do you define sacred time? Sacred time is there is no money involved. There cannot be any money involved. It's like having a temple and like people who are selling things are not allowed in the temple.
Yep.
Like, okay. And so when I sit to do this thing, if anybody comes into the temple to try and sell some shit, like that's not what we do here. What we do here is we participate in the art or the craft or the love or the whatever it is of the activity. And if there is some point down the line in the future that it may have some interaction with market or with, you know, business or something like that, that's fine, but we don't do that now. Like, and you know, so, and then it's a tiny seed that I plant. And then around my journaling, for instance, I just write there. Like there is no, and business stuff may come up in that, but I am not trying to take advantage of any of the work that I'm doing there. The work is the work, and it is a connection with the sacred. And however you define sacred, like certain music, like I won't work to it. I'll just listen to it, right? These kinds of things, like narrowing the field of what is allowable within that, like, and then following your own rules reinforces the sacredness. And then that area becomes so vital to my life that I'm crazy about protecting it. Like if something tries to get in the door, I use that energy where I'm like, fuck off, I will kill you. So, because then I have this pocket of sacredness that I can protect, which allows me to like exhibit that protective, like sort of capacity. And then what I do within that area of sacredness, that is very special time. So I take it very seriously. I treat it as craft to some degree. It's not overly serious, like, but you know, I'm like, I can develop a relationship with this time where I'm not selling it. Like it's not for sale. Nothing at all can happen in there. And so it takes time to
just
condition
a nurturing
this.
part of you.
Kinda, yeah.
That's nice.
But it can also take into account that I'm like a lunatic and like, you know, I can put the guard dog at the door and, you know, that solves some things. What?
It's just funny.
It's a consistency that kind of drives madness too. So yeah. I've recently realized, all right, I've been eating the same breakfast for 2 months just because we have a maid. And then if one day I don't eat it, I'm like, fuck, this day there's
shot.
There's some potential, yeah. And lunch, same thing. And I need to follow now the same routines for the day to turn out to be good. And I'm like, that's probably how OCDs get fucking developed. Yeah. Where you go, you do something consistently for a long period of time,
becoming
and you go, I had a good time. Yeah. So now my entire day has been, especially during the lockdown, is just so not helpful. So I go, I need to wake up this time. I have my breakfast exactly this. And sometimes I'm like, oh, fuck, I don't want to shower. I want to shower afterwards. I want to exercise in the morning. I'm like, no. That messes up with the whole plan. I'm like, no, fuck. Now I'm in my own fucking hamster wheel.
Yep.
And it's just getting worse. I'm like, I need to break it. I need to break the rat habits of just switching things up just to not become a robot of my own making.
Yep.
I do the
all
same
the weirdness
thing.
is slowly happening.
I mean, my thing with this was basically like when I start to flip out about like needing to do things a certain way or whatever
at a certain time or in a certain
whatever
order,
it is, like in a certain place, or you know, this nomading thing we're doing helps a lot with this because it is impossible. So learning to adapt to that has been helpful in this. But at first, like, you know, it gets me panicky. Part of it is just like slowing down and noticing this shit's happening. Like I'm flipping out about something, and then like seeing if I can sit through it to a point where I calm down. And then I'm like, what do you really need right now? And like, are you hungry? Do you want to move? Like, do you need to meditate? Do you need to make some art? Do you need to talk to somebody? Like, what's going on? Like, rather than like the schedule forcing you into a functional like way of being.
It's like an intuition thing. Again.
Like learn to talk to what you need at that moment, because sometimes when you shift your schedule around, it's because you need to be in a different mindset, right? So like you have to trust yourself to know that there's the possibility. And sometimes there's no answer. It's like, I don't fucking know. And so I sit there and I like try to calm down, or I do something healthy, whatever that healthy thing is. Like, but it works, 50% of the time.
Oh, the healthiness. Like my exercises nowadays is just, I don't know, probably the movie of the movie of Jesus. But I'm just pushing myself extremely.
Yeah.
For no point. And then it's just a numbers game in my mind now, where I go 5,000 yesterday, it needs to be 6,000 today. I'm like ridiculous. Like I'm not trying to
You're enslaving yourself.
Yeah.
I do. I'm amazing at it, by the way.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's crazy that people can do this to themselves.
Yeah.
It's wild.
Oh, and get proud of it. That's the insane part of it.
Yep.
Yeah. Oh, I did it. And then you see the progress, and then you go, all right, let's just do more of it faster and faster. And then because I have it built in, I can push myself to the extreme.
Yeah.
And go, it's gonna be so much worth it. It's worth it. It's just worth it. Worth it for when?
Yeah. For what? Why? Yeah.
For what and why?
Yeah.
Can I just chill with it? And I'm like, chill for just. And then the whole mind talk now is just all like, what is it?
Go.
The emotion, all of the emotions in the Pixar movie.
Oh yeah.
Inside Out.
Yeah.
Inside Out. Yeah. Like there's just one character in my mind taking over.
And it's the loudest one. Yeah. Like
the loudest one.
Yeah.
Any?
That one's a bear. It's hard. Like getting off that treadmill is tough.
Personality. Yep.
Like where you can still take care of yourself and still like be healthy, but you don't need to like slave drive yourself.
Yeah, well, that personality is probably taking too much of like, it's like siphoning life off of every other part of you, and it's just going for it. Yeah.
It's just time. Yeah, exactly. So that one gets to see that, like, I haven't watched a movie from start to end for such a long time. So I go 2020, 2020.
Yeah.
It is almost like that. So I watch a movie, I'm done eating, I'm like, done. Continue with the day. And then I have 10 minutes or 20 minutes. Pause, restart, play it. And then I'm like, no, don't do this. Like, what am I doing?
Yeah.
You're figuring it out. At least you're aware of it. Some people don't have any idea.
They have no clue that this is going on. So like nuts. If you know that these things are happening, it's about shaping it into an environment that you can work with it, right? It's a medium. It's like a canvas. You can paint with these things, right? Like you can talk to these people. They are part of you. They're, but finding your specific medium is hard. Like you have to work at like a design I had to take time off just to do this. This was my full work, is to try and figure out ways so that my internal cast of characters was not fucking running the show without any sort of like idea of what the hell's going on. It was just like a crazy circus. So I don't know.
There's no governor.
None at all. Like, what are we doing this for? Like, why? What is the point? No one's happy. Like,
seriously.
So like,
no one's happy.
I had to go like look at what is happiness? Like, is it something you should try for? Is it, like all of these kinds of things? The philosophical stuff helped me.
Yeah.
But like the general maintenance of like your sort of internal landscape, everybody has different methodologies for working with this. Like, I think what's hardest nowadays is that we don't have people around that can talk about this kind of thing. Like, this is fucking normal. This is what everybody goes
Everyone's
through.
Going through it all the time. Yeah.
Yeah. We have a particularly potent version of it, I think, for whatever reason. But yeah, so like finding other people for whom like this kind of discussion is like, oh yeah, I'm working with a similar thing. This is kind of how I saw it. You're like, oh, I didn't think about it that way. This is what Inside Out did. Like, that's why that movie is so great, because it gave people a sort of a mental model, like kids especially. They're like, oh, you've got parts inside of you. That's fine. That's normal. Everybody does.
Yep.
So, so it's finding the grown-up adult, like creative, aspirational, like hard-hitting bonkers versions of these things, so that you can work with them as part of your practice. I think like a big part of like doing larger scale artistic works in the world is having systems like this as like a backbone, because you can't go past, your talent will cap out at a certain point. Then you need systems to sort of work with your internal nature. I don't know. I can't see any other way around it yet. There's always a better way until there isn't. What?
We should go.
Yeah, we gotta hit the road. Stop it.
He's got a thing on his pants.
You poking at it isn't gonna make it go away. Maniac.
You never know.
You do never know. Cool. Well, this was nice. This was nice in a way.
In a way.
Talking about our demons.
Yeah. Did it relax you?
No.
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 No, we got to get on the road.
Yeah,
Okay.
I'm less crazed right now, so
Yeah,
that's
see?
fine. So you just talk about.
Talk to therapist Farzad.
Got it
Doing
all.
co-therapy,
Yeah.
peer
Talk to the
therapy.
maniac over here.
Yeah. Well, you sharing your crazy helps me understand my crazy. That's how this works. We're comparing
Yeah,
notes on how to do it better.
When will we be able to figure out traveling abroad? Like, we're
the
never
COVID
going to know
stuff.
about COVID. This is what I feel like. Because I've got half a mind to show up in January to make sure he's not working.
Yeah, please. I mean, I'm pretty sure it's already, I'm booking it in my mind. I'm like,
Yeah.
after birthday, just skip it for a year.
When's your birthday?
27th December. I'm the one right middle of the Christmas and New Year. It's just like all in one. Just here's one present. Just make it.
Yeah,
into
we
two
have this in
pieces.
common. I have Halloween as my birthday. And so everybody is doing everything else
Ooh.
except for like celebrating me. So I'm like,
My sister,
all of you.
my sister's birthday is December 30th. And my other siblings, we all have our birthdays in April, like in the same week. So she always got presents at our birthday, which because everyone felt bad because she was left out. But she's like, it makes up because I don't really get a celebration because I'm December 30th. No one cares about me then.
My family, we have no presents. Nobody deserves anything. They were like we did basic things for birthdays. It wasn't a big deal.
December 27th.
What are you
I'm
doing?
logging his birthday
Okay.
in his
Nice.
contact.
When is Dave? So Halloween?
Halloween,
I should do
October
the same.
31st. And then yours is what? April
26.
26th. Got it all down.
Okay, I'll
Need something else to celebrate. Pick any day.
send a Facebook message.
Perfect.
Is that what Facebook is for?
That's the
Isn't
only
that what
thing
it's
it's for. Yeah.
That's it.
No, the only
That's
other
it.
thing it's for is like sometimes you need to validate like a crypto address so that you can get fake money to play with. And the only way to do this is to post it to a social media. And so they give you the thing. So I use Facebook for that. That's it.
Nice.
Nonsense. All right. We're
All
out
right.
of here.
See you next week.
See you next week. Have a safe trip.
Thank you.
Will do.
Bye.
Bye.
Be relaxed.